Welcome CNG 124 to the midweek review. Um, so I think there's two posts. Make sure to get those posts in by Wednesday to get the full credit. Also, if you missed something in the past, make sure to add a post in the past or hop into one of the past assignments and do your post. Let's see. What I wanted to talk about was, since we don't have any reading today, or I should say for this week, we're actually studying. I hope you guys are practicing and studying IPv4 classical subnetting. But with that, there are some things that I'd like to show you. Priscilla Oppenheimer was one of the first people to start to develop networking in general, how to design networks, how to look at it from a top-down view. Probably one of the proponent leaders of networking. If you search her site, you'll find some photos of her early on when looking at computers. You can see how computers were definitely a lot bigger, and they were just, when computer networking was starting, they were making this stuff up as they were going. So that's how we kind of come back to week one of the program, to where we see everybody had their own ways of talking within a network, and then we went to standardization to help everybody talk, no matter what they were on, Apple, PC, Linux, IBM, all communicate through protocols. Here's her book. I think you can find it on the web for like 20 bucks. Top-down network design. When you read it, you find out that a lot of what we're learning is carrying over in this book. I did run into a course that used this book at the 400 level. So when you do get it, there might be things that you are learning when reading it, but it still should be in your comfort zone within the CNG 124 scope when it goes to network design and talking about networks. Once again, if you're planning on keep on going or have a networking degree, get this $20 book. Help you in the future. I believe she even has a game. Yeah, she used to be famous for 2 games. This is the second game, Forensics Jeopardy. She did have a triangles game that made your mind. Basically, it was one of those games where optical illusion. You have to count the number of triangles, and then that would give you work into something else, an algorithm. But then you had to sit there and count basically multi-form triangles, and I believe you can find it on the web. If I ever find a link for it, I'll get you on. But it's just one of those ones where you count the triangles and you see you've missed some, and then you recount them and you get them all. Instead of just seeing like 4 or 5 triangles, there's something upwards to 40 triangles. But this one is a cool game too, computer forensics, Jeopardy. So feel free to play the game. It's at priscilla.com. Feel free to go there and look at that. A lot of valuable material there. When we look at this week, the lab submissions haven't been a lot, and I understand that for now. Subnetting, yeah, only 2 people have done that. When you go to content, oops, I want to go up here. So when we look at the IPv4 subnetting workbook, we want to look at page 15 or so. Yeah, page 15. We start looking at how to subnet a little bit differently from our lab assignment, but pretty much the same. Once again, we're first identifying the class. So when we look at 195.85.80, we can identify that it is a class C. Then to say, okay, what's the default subnet for a class C? 255.255.255.0. How many hosts do I need? I need 30 hosts, but then I also need a total of 6 subnets. So then when I start to look at it, I say, okay, these belong to the network because it's a class C. So I can only manipulate the back 4th octet. To get to 30 usable hosts, I have to go not 128, not 64, I have to go to the 32, right? Binary values, number of hosts. And then, let's see. What was I working on? Number of subnets, okay. So then I say, okay, so it has to be this one. I will then go to the number of subnets. This one says it's 8. 6 definitely fits into 8. 30 definitely fits into 32. So then I'll say, okay, the new custom subnet mask is 255, 255, 255, 128 plus 64 plus 32, 224 will be my answer. And then the total number of subnets, 8. Total number of host addresses, I can say I have 32. This is somewhat misleading on here. That's what I was looking at. Somewhat misleading. If they put the number of hosts over 1, I think it's a little bit more helpful. And I believe that's what I showed you in my example. So we say total number of hosts 32, number of usable hosts 30, which definitely fits into our 30 exactly. Bits borrowed 1, 2, 3, and then that one would be complete. Remember, these are for your practice. I believe there's a lot of them. Make sure you practice and practice and practice. It looks like they only have the examples for 3 examples where they write the binary values in. This one is important to look at when you're moving left from a class C into a class B. You're starting to gain usable hosts, and if you look at it, it's always doubling. 512, 1024, 2048, 4096, 8192, 16384. So that's just doubling as it's going that way in the number of hosts. And then we see if we get to the number of subnets, it actually starts to get smaller. I think that's it. Have a good midweek. I will check in with you guys